Hello, my family. Yes, I'm hot. I'm sweaty. Just got home from an Azure order pickup. My favorite day. But we can do it without the heat. I have another one coming next month because we are in the process of restocking, y'all. One of the restocks I have is a 25-pound of Durham wheat. We are finding Kamut is good too, but we are finding the Durham wheat, I don't know, between the two, they will both last us. Both will work equally for us. So we have enough pasta type of wheat berries that we are going to actually make it through the winter on this. And I'm going to explain to you why we're doing this. So we have those, and then I have a box here. But before we do all that, y'all, I need to say a special thank you to Miss Patricia. She's my good friend also out of Canada. She sent me some amazing cookbooks, y'all. I cannot wait to get into these. I basically got rid of all of my cookbooks, and the reason I done it is because I prefer to have more authenticity of the Mediterranean. It's nothing except for my own preference. But in the means of doing this, I've been blessed, y'all. And so I had to share with you some of these. I have the Italian Holiday Cookbook. I have the Classic Italian Cuisine, Foods from France. This one is, never seen this one before, but it's Ukrainian Women's Organization. And then this one is a Native American cookbook. So I am going to enjoy these because it falls in line to the way I do things. But let me go ahead and get you on the Azure order and what we have done this month and what we're doing next month. So let's get started. Okay, y'all, so here's what we have. Like I said, I have, this is amazing, and this works. 25 pounds of Durham wheat. The difference, and I will sit down with you in a moment and tell you the difference between fresh milled Durham wheat and the Durham wheat based pastas you buy at the store, unlike those coming from Italy. We're talking regular Great Value or other likes of pastas that are 99, 80 something cents. I'm going to tell you the difference between that pasta and this. In the meantime, I decided to try, I'm going through garlic like crazy. Now, I'm not going to Sam's Club so much, so these were a bit expensive, and I'm like, is this worth it? I got 1 pound of garlic. Y'all, can I show you? Look how big these are. They're huge. Nice, firm, hard garlic. Good size cloves. I am happy. Would I do this again? Absolutely. Yes. So, and they've been chilled, so I guess I'm going to put these in there to keep them from sprouting. The other things I did are, hold on, y'all. Be right back. Okay, so I went and got some dried cranberries. Now, why would I get dried cranberries from Azure Standard? That's a good question. Most of the cranberries that I am buying from the dried to hydrated cranberries are sugar coated. whether it be corn syrup, sugar, whatever, they are coated, and I do not like this. I do not want sweetened cranberries, and it's really hard. You can find some that are so much percentage sweetened and sweetened. So I decided to opt out of that and try Azure Standards. Now I did get one prior before this. This is a 1 pound container of organic cranberries, but the difference is versus sugar to corn syrup, this one is apple juice infused. So I did try these and I love them. And the reason I got these is I make Mediterranean granola using tahini, olive oil, and honey. So I wanted something more of an organic, better option as far as a sweetened if I had to have a cranberry. So these were amazing. I actually like to eat these besides even in my granola on their own. So we have some more of these. I do not like using sugar. And so I did find that some of my ingredients, like my granola, uses a very small amount of brown sugar. However, I don't want to use, and I could make my own brown sugar using molasses and regular white sugar. However, it is a refined sugar, and I'm trying to opt out of all the refining as much as possible. And I do not go through this very often, so I did get a 2 pound bag of light brown sugar. It is an organic based brown sugar. It's got organic cane sugar and cane syrup. So this one I chose to use, and this is going to last me a good long time because I don't use sugar like this very often. So I did get the organic on this as well. I do like snacking and using in my granolas as well, or even maybe some of my oatmeal. We have some golden raisins. They're non-GMO raisins, and so we got, let's see, golden sulfured raisins, it says on it. So we're going to try these out, and I actually got 2 pounds of these, one each pack here. So yes, we got these. I am opting into using quinoa more than rice. So I did get 5 pounds of white quinoa to trade off for rice, and using this instead. Quinoa is basically a seed. It has a lot more fiber and more nutrients in it. I could still, and one of my favorite dishes I love is the cilantro lime rice, but I can use that with this quinoa and have it with my Mexican food. So I really want to try this. The other kind I do have is multicolored, but I wanted the white one because it represents, I guess, psychologically as a rice. So I did get 5 pounds of white quinoa. I also have, on top of the golden raisins, I have regular Thompson raisins. So we have these as well. I go through this, y'all. I started this 3 months ago, and so I wanted to test it, and it wound up being amazing. Honestly, this olive oil is really good. So I keep getting organic olive oil just about every month because, and I was, to my surprise, I go through a gallon a month. So we have some more organic olive oil. And I decided to try something else. Sometimes I like to fry some of my foods, like fried green tomatoes, or sometimes just maybe a French fry here and there. I don't want to use my olive oil because, first of all, you don't want to get it to the smoke point. You'll lose all your benefits from it. So if I'm going to use an oil, I honestly don't want to touch vegetable oil or canola oil. The difference between the canola and then what I opted to actually get was organic sunflower oil. And the reason I did the sunflower oil basically is this here, there's no cholesterol in it either. The difference between this oil and canola oil, this one does not cause inflammation. This one actually is an anti-inflammatory. So I would prefer to try using sunflower. We're going to see how this works. I don't usually use a lot of different types besides olive oil. Now this is an expeller pressed. I don't know what the difference between that is, but we're going to try this. And it does have a high oleic sunflower oil, so the extraction to this being organic is so much better than some of the stuff you will get at the grocery store. So we did opt to do this because we're trying to do a lot cleaner than anything from the grocery store. Let me get this put away, and I'm going to explain a few things about the Durham wheat and what we're getting into, y'all, and the canning session that I have coming up this week in between doctor's appointments, interviews, and Azure orders. And it's been a busy week, y'all. So give me a minute to put this away and we will be right back with you. All right, y'all. So basically, the difference between the Durham wheat that I'm using and the stuff that you have at the grocery store. So it comes down to this. What I have is a pure grain. I don't have anything stripped from it. And this is a big, huge option. So in a lot of the studies, they were showing that you could not, if you were diabetic, you could not have Durham wheat. In the sense of it, I can understand that. Just like the enriched flour, they strip it during the processing of it. So they take out all the fiber, they take out all the bran, take out all the nutrients and vitamins just so they can put it on the shelf, bleach it, some they don't, and then in other things that they add enriched vitamins. And so it doesn't work. It will spike blood sugar. Enriched flour spikes blood sugar, so would the pasta with Durham wheat in it, unless, and that's where the studies were not done yet. Same thing as milling my own grains. We get everything. We get the bran, we get the fiber, we get all the nutrients and vitamins. The moment we crack that wheat berry, we explode this thing that fills our entire body. We have tested this. Now let me tell y'all, my husband at, I think it was Monday of last week, or Tuesday, last week, y'all. I believe, unless it was this week, I can't remember now. We've had so many different appointments here and there, it's been crazy. So, but he recently had a doctor's appointment. Now you have known about me making all of these breads and all of this pasta, and for a lot of you, you're even on my Facebook homestead group, and you see of all these things that I'm creating and making, even focaccia. And his A1C, y'all, was 5.4. Now granted, he does take Farxiga, but at 20 milligrams. So it does take a lot, even with your own diet, to change everything. So a 5.4. That means he has not been spiking during our homemade pasta making that you have seen me do with our Philips 7000. I have been making pasta quite often. And so, well, not that often, but more than usual, and using fresh milled Durham wheat. So I'm using Durham wheat, and I'm thinking, we did his blood test 2 hours after he ate, and he never spiked. So the tests that were done during or using the refined ingredients. Now, like in Italy, they're using the same thing we do. They're using the whole thing, y'all. They're not refined whatsoever. So that makes a huge difference. If you remove all the good stuff from something that was already good, just so you can put it on your shelf, of course you're going to miss a lot of the ingredients. Of course you're going to miss all the nutrients, the vitamins, your fiber, your bran, your everything. So what we do, and the reason I end up buying more Durham wheat, is because we tested more than once, and both times came back not spiking. So we have been using Corazon, or otherwise known as AKA Kamut. We have been using that in replacement for pasta. Both equally work for him, both equally does not spike his blood sugar, but each has its own flavoring. So, but both will work for us. So we're going to keep both of them. I have enough Corazon. I have now enough Durham Wheat that I am good for pasta for quite some time, y'all. Matter of fact, if I had somebody close by to me that was milling, I'd probably share some of this kamut because my husband basically prefers the Durham Wheat. So, and I can understand that the flavoring is different. The kamut has more of a richer nutty flavor versus the Durham, which is a more neutral flavor. But like I said, both work equally well. So, and both make amazing pasta. So we decided to go ahead, and because I started out with a small amount just to test this, and decided to go ahead and get another, or get a 25-pound bag so that we can go ahead and do the pasta the rest of the time. Now, what we're doing this year, normally I have been stocking for the winter because my husband had seasonal work. Here lately things have changed, and it's about to change one more time. This time for the better for us. And y'all, if you are praying, folks, it's an unspoken request basically as to details. But he is looking into a really good job right now. The foot is in the door. He had an amazing interview. We're waiting on that phone call. So if you are anything of praying, would you please help us pray for this one, because we need it. Now again, this does deal with paving once again. However, the difference is he won't be seasonal basically, because they work it out where he can he can basically work throughout the entire winter. We don't really necessarily have to do this. So I did have a long discussion with my husband, and I was really amazed at his reply. And I thought I'd share this with you because, look, my husband, he is a very simple man. And I'm not afraid to say it. He's here with me and he knows it, but he's a very simple man. He doesn't get into long drawn things, but this one really shocked me. And I asked him, if he does get this job, do we really need to keep stocking for Missouri Standard and canning for our pantry? And his reply was immediately, absolutely yes. And I asked him, I said, can you explain a little bit why? And he said, sure, because I love the flavor. He said, I like the way it tastes. I like what it does for our bodies. And yes, I want to keep doing this. It is cleaner. I can taste the difference. I can feel the difference. And I don't want to keep getting the stuff from the stores. Do you know how that made me feel, y'all? Now, my husband doesn't do a lot of this stuff here. He'll eat, and he loves to eat. But he doesn't really do all the canning and all that. However, I did not know up until yesterday how he actually felt about all this and how it does for him. And that made me very excited because we've been doing this now for 2 years at least. And so if he can do the test the difference just like I can, we have been trying to eat cleaner for so long that our bodies let us know when we eat junk. Literally, my body will inflame, and I have noticed it in the videos. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I have noticed it. So you can basically tell if I ate junk food or not. I mean, I'm going to tell on myself, but it's true. Now, like now, today, I have went back to eating cleaner, and I can absolutely tell because the water content in my face, if you'll see, it's narrower, and I'm not so puffy. I have noticed that when I eat junk food that I'm not supposed to, okay, we'll be honest, like potato chips or anything that's got refining in, like certain type of crackers, or if I overindulge, I will notice a major swelling in my feet, my legs, my hands, and my face. And so my body, my stomach swells. I feel no energy. My anxiety rises higher, and so does depression. When I stop eating these foods, so y'all, there really is something about this. When I stop eating the foods that make me feel like this, my energy is higher. I am more motivated. I have a better outlook in life. my anxiety is relaxed, my swelling comes down, including my weight, and that is part of it with all the inflammation. And so I feel better all around. And so I decided that, I'm doing what I can to discipline myself a whole lot better. I'm not just doing this just to be another fad out here in the YouTube world. This is my reality, y'all. This is the fact that I never realized why I was so sick until now. I can definitely tell the difference. My body lets me know, and it's amazing if I listen to it, what it's telling me. And I didn't really understand until I got more into the Mediterranean lifestyle how much cleaner it is and what it does for our system, what it does for our body. And my husband's 5.4 A1C for a diabetic type 2, y'all, that is absolutely amazing. And he's eating bread. Trust me, the man eats bread. He's eating pasta. He's living an everyday normal lifestyle as a type 2 diabetic, very conscious of what he eats. However, he's eating it from fresh, milled, or cleaner foods. So I have to say, I'm not sorry I started this with our clean eating, because when my body tells me, hey, I don't feel so good, when my energy is gone, my anxiety is through the roof, and my depression is at an all-time bad low, I do not want to live like this. So I am going to continue on this road. So this is a reason why we are also ordering a lot more from Azure, because Azure, it does have a lot more organics, and I'm not being promoted by this, y'all. This is the reason why you'll see my Azure hauls, is because of what it does for us. The better option that I get from the grocery store, the different flavoring. I'm even learning to eat granola. I love to snack on granola and popcorn. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I got 25 pounds of popcorn. Yes, I do. Why? Because popcorn, number one, is a fat-free snack. It's really healthy for you. And I prefer, and that all depends now. Please let me rephrase that statement about being healthier for you. It all depends on what you put on it. So, I love cheesy popcorn, y'all. I do. I am, oh, I have bought the cheesy popcorn from the store, and again, those preservatives let me know that, that didn't work. So I found a way to actually have cheesy popcorn better. And so what I use is, we air pop our popcorn, and I love using nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has a Parmesan type of flavoring that makes my popcorn go yum, and it's a whole lot healthier for me. So I love cheesy popcorn. I'm constantly begging my husband, could you make me some popcorn, please? So, and naturally he does. But I love snacking on my popcorn. So it all depends. If you're dumping a bunch of butter on it, y'all, no, of course not. It's not going to be fat-free or anything like that. You're going to add some fat to it. We do use homemade ghee. We do not pour it on it. We just pop with it. And I think about a tablespoon or two is all we use. And so now we're getting at the point that we can also use olive oil, sunflower oil, or canola oil in its place as well. So, and then I just like to sprinkle a little bit of seasoning. We use just a tad bit of Flavorcol, which is what they use at the movie theaters. It's a buttered flavored salt. No, we're not completely clean, y'all. It's virtually impossible. So some things we indulge, but just a little bit. We don't overdo it, because the containers that we have last us a good long time, up to maybe a year or more. So it will last us quite a long time. But I would choose, if I had to choose a snack, I am going to choose my popcorn with my nutritional yeast, and even with my salt flavoring, over a bag of potato chips that has been cooked or fried in a seed oil or anything like that, or anything that has any of the other type of preservatives. So honestly, I'll take my popcorn. If I want chips, I can actually make my own potato chips. There's air frying or whatever I want as well. So I'm learning to try to, but I'm like you too. So let me go to my reality side of things. When I think of bread, do I always like to say, shoot, I got to pull out that mill and I got to start milling before I can even make bread. Now it's becoming second nature to do that, but sometimes do I really want to? So here's what I do. I cheat. Yep. I will mill, and the time that I'm milling, I will mill extra. So when it comes time to making bread, it's already in my freezer. I'm preserving it in my freezer until my next round. I am going to be making pizza dough by a bulk, dividing it, freezing it, so I don't have to do it every day. I could just pull it out of my freezer and start baking with it. So those are my secrets. Do I like the convenience sometimes of just grabbing a snack and going? Yes, I do. I do. But every time I do, that's when it gets me. So I have to really become disciplined, y'all. I cannot do this. It does not work for me, and I don't like the way I feel. I never recognized that before. That's why I got really, really excited with these cookbooks, because these are what I'm into. And I'm going to share all this with you as well. What is coming up after we get past all these appointments with my husband? Y'all, I'm canning chili. Yes, I'm canning chili this week. Sometime between tomorrow and Friday, we are going to be canning some chili because I missed it last year and I want that on my shelf. Chili is amazing, especially the way we do this. That is the one thing that is constantly the first thing off of my shelf every winter. We just go through the chili because we love the flavor of it. So we're going to be doing that. And I am looking into order some more dry beans because we're going to be doing, I did some price checking, y'all. Lord have mercy, even Aldi's, 96 cents a can for beans. Y'all, I can get 25 pounds of dry beans if I wanted to for $40 and divide that. Do you know how many things of beans I can get for that? I'm going to tell you, far less expensive than buying it from a can. So we're going to be getting some more dried beans and canning our own. So far we have, and I'm going to be doing a pantry walkthrough. I do this every year with you, basically to what has changed or what we're doing now for the Mediterranean side, or just plain old, like my husband likes his plain old beans and cornbread and stuff like that. So we are going to have a pantry walkthrough as soon as we can get these things filled up and show you what we're doing this year so far. But chili's coming up, y'all, so be prepared for this. I am really hoping that some of these things that we're going through with you in the Mediterranean lifestyle, or some of these topics and conversations, are helping you understand what may be wrong with you at times too, why you feel like maybe you do, maybe change something, a little bit here or a little bit there makes a difference. There is one other thing I'm fixing to do. I have been making sourdough starter. And I know many people, they have made starter out of fresh milled flour, and it works for them. However, I am in an area with very high humidity, and it does not love fresh milled flour, making it into sourdough starter. Every single time mine molds, y'all, so I am not doing that. However, there is another homesteader here that I found is about an hour and 15 minutes from me, and I'm actually going to meet her. This is so cool. I'm going to meet her Saturday. She's got a bunch of stuff where she's going to bring or allow me to come and get and bring here, and we're going to have some fun. I got to show you that video too. But she's bringing me, they're giving me some produce and everything that we're bringing back here. But she had talked about an artesian craft flour from Azure Standard, and I checked into it, y'all. It is not fresh milled. However, it is not ultra processed like the stuff that I've been using from the grocery store, from bread flour and whole wheat. I am actually fixing, oh, I cannot believe I'm going to say I'm going to be doing this, but I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to keep it in the fridge, but I'm technically going to be scratching that sourdough starter, starting over with an artesian-based organic flour, and see if this works better. There's been a lot of great reviews off that flour with those who've been using it for sourdough starter, and I'm going to be stepping away from this refined, basically sourdough starter that I've been using, and check this one out and see if we can use it instead, and how well it blends with fresh milled. So that is an upcoming thing that I'm going to try as well, because I have tried everything to use it for fresh milled and it just doesn't work. It just keeps molding, y'all, so we can't do this. So we're going to try that, and I've already got it ordered for next month. I've already got another order ready going, y'all. I love Azure Standard, but I'm getting at the point where I'm going to be settled. So we're going through, double checking, making sure we have enough popcorn to last us another good long time. We're going to make sure that we have enough wheat grains like soft mill, hard white wheat. All of these wheat berries we use quite often. We're going to restock so that we are replenished all over again. So, and of course I'm going to go through it with y'all. So with that, y'all, I am going to go ahead and start supper, finish off my chores for the day, and I'm going to spend the evening with Mr. James. So look forward to a video, probably more than likely all coming on Friday, and we are going to can our chili for the season, and we are getting ready to do a pantry tour. And I have another one coming up after we come back from our visit with another homesteader here in Mississippi. I am super excited to go meet her. So, y'all, I love you dearly. And I really do hope that some of these conversations help. So maybe, like I said, switch things up. Maybe do something different just a little bit, because every little bit counts. That's how I started till I got where I'm at, and I'm not moving, y'all. I like the way I feel. I'm not old. I'm young again. And that's amazing. So, until next time, y'all, I love you very, very much. Mwah. And we will see you again from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead.